what I'm about to say is, if she checked all your policy boxes, would you vote for her over Trump?
Well, she doesn't check. I mean, she's dead set.
I'm just saying, because she hasn't come up. It's only been 2 weeks.
Yeah, but I'll tell you this.
It's a hypothetical.
I'm going to vote for the candidate who I believe has the best policies for the United States of America and who has some basis to carry them out. In my mind, that's exactly why I'm voting for Trump. That's exactly why I'm voting for Trump.
I mean, again,
so if somebody and Trump and I don't agree on 100% of policies. I mean, I ran for president last year, for God's sake, right? And there's some areas where he and I have had open discussions where we have slightly different views. And that's great.
But again, let's just say that list of policies you have in your mind.
I will vote for the candidate who I believe is committed to enacting the policies I agree with for the United States.
So it looks like Mark Cuban is just trying to look woke.
All right, so let me give you, without using the word DEI, because it's just so tired.
You can use DEI, that's fine.
I don't like using it because it causes, especially for somebody I might disagree with.
I like using it. I got no problem with it, even though it pisses people off. Well, that's what makes it more fun.
Well, let's use DEI then, fine. So let's say in the name of DEI, right, Pfizer, this is an example I gave you, we started talking about it. Pfizer sets a target. You can call it a quota, call it a target.
It's not a quota.
Pfizer sets a target. But it is a very precise numerical target. Now, and this is not picking on one company.
Well, it's percentage. It was a percentage, right?
They're in an industry that I know well, but this is representative.
And I know that industry well too.
Yeah. Right. So it's an industry we both know well. So we're picking this example, but this is not unique to Pfizer Healthcare. It's true across every other industry.
IBM has done it. Others have done it.
Right. Something to the effect of, and people can look up the exact what it is, but the punchline is 32% or so was the number for minorities in certain corporate vice president levels or above. I get it approximately right. Look up exactly what the details, but suppose it's 32% in vice president level corporate executives or above by a certain year in the future. That's a corporate target that they have set. It's my belief, right, that these types of demographic goals, if that's your basis for setting a target, that is incompatible with pure meritocracy, where
absolutely not.
Yeah, and that's where I know you disagree, right? So give me your view.
Sure. So targets are one thing, right? They're not a quota. If it was a quota, you would be able to. Let me take a step back. There are these things called EEOC reports, right? Where
Equal
the
Employment Opportunity Commission. That's what it is. Yep.
Right. Where they actually have to disclose the numbers for those vice president positions by male, female, white, black, Asian, other races, and biracial, right? And so they have to disclose them, and not all companies do. They have to report it. They don't have to disclose. Not all companies do, but Pfizer does. And when you go and actually look at the numbers on the EEOC report, they're nowhere close to those targets. And in fact, in some years, they actually reduced the number of people you would think would benefit from DEI, right? Based off of the traditional DEI views.
And that's Black accurate. Americans, what you just said is accurate. It's fact.
Right.
So why bother to specify that target or goal in the first place? Because your point is they're not even meeting it. And you're right about that in many companies.
When you say they're not meeting it, that's just confirmation that it's not a quota. Because a lot of people will take that number and project that as a quota. Why would they do it? It's a quota, but they never meet it. None of the companies ever meet it.
What's the purpose of setting that goal on the basis of race or gender in the first place, Mark?
Wanted to get, right? And so you said, I've raised this money, I'm investing this money, we're going to have hits and misses, and our target return is 23%. Same thing, right? Good companies look at their employees as capital, right? As intellectual capital. And where you want to have a better portfolio outcome for your intellectual capital, there's certain things that you want to see happen. One of them is diversity. And now when I talk about diversity, and I've put this up on Twitter, that means going out there and just like you look for the best ARBs across all bio companies, right? You didn't care where they were located. Looking for the best employee, the most capable employee means turning over rocks where other people don't look.
Yeah, so that's exactly what is the opposite of DEI. So you want the best people, not just because they qualify based on the race. So he knows what he wants, but he's just trying to look like he's a part of the of the mob.
I agree with you so far, but why denominate it based on race? Why take this top-down category that and I'll tell you why it gets under my skin is, I think it causes us to be more divided when we see each other on the basis of our skins.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree. Okay, so let's go to your point, right? Let's go to your question. Let's just say I'm looking at a drug company, Roivant. How do you pronounce your company name?
Roivant was my first company.
Roivant, right. So I have Roivant. And I recognize that for cancer drugs, they're all ignoring them. Everybody's ignoring cancer. So I'm going to set a target for cancer drugs because I know everybody else isn't looking there. Yeah. They're missing it. And so I'm going to go where these cancer drugs are being made, where they're not making enough an investment in them. And I'm going to go to focus, not necessarily focus there, but I'm going to extend my ARB reach and my look to include those cancer drugs from companies I think don't do a good job of figuring out the value in that drug. That is what D in diversity is. It's saying, look, there's a lot of women, Black, Asian, whatever it may be, people that I think are not being recruited. That there are a lot of people who may not have the best test scores from the best school, but they may have a lot of soft skills from their experiences. Just like when you at Roivant, you compete with your cancer drugs, have to compete in potential return for the non-cancer drugs, right? And so in my diversity, when I go out and I look at this, I'm going to say this person, this woman, African-American woman who was from this small school that I've never recruited at, she's brilliant. And when I compare her to other people that I might hire, she's better. Now, this other person, African-American, another small school I typically don't recruit at, they may not be good enough. I'm not going to hire them just because they're Black from a small school that nobody else recruited at. They have to qualify. So then when I hired this African-American woman from this small school, because she has amazing soft skills, maybe not the best test scores, that's where equity comes in, right? Equity means putting people in a position to succeed, giving them the tools that they need. So
that's not what equity means.
She might have soft skills I invested in this company called Scoutable, right? Scoutable.com. And all they do is they have people play these games. And when you play the game and thousands and thousands and thousands of people have played the game, it helps you it does. Based off the results in the past you take, they'll compare them to other successful people in other vertical areas, right? Programming, bio, and they'll look for similarities. They'll do a statistical analysis and they'll say, look, this person who we found in the middle of nowhere doesn't have a computer science degree, but the soft skills that they have matches up perfectly to our best programmers. Okay. So we're going to take a chance on that person. And the equity is, the E in equity says we're going to give them extra computer training because we know based off of the data that we're using, they're very capable in ways other people aren't going to find the diversity, and we're going to give them the tools to put them in a position to succeed.
Right. So I'm not sure why Vivek doesn't just say, that they're on the same page, that they both don't believe in DEI, and they could just leave it at that.
Even the kind of diversity you want, I would add a lot of diversity to the ranks of a steakhouse. I'll tell you why. Because I'm a vegetarian. I'm a vegetarian on principle. It's a part of my religious upbringing, but
I'm pescatarian. I'm pescatarian.
Right. So I don't believe in killing animals for culinary pleasure. It just happens to be a family belief of mine, and that I've raised in and that I raise my kids in as well. I respect the right of the steakhouse to go pursue its own mission. I don't think the government should be stopping them from doing it. But even though I would add diversity to the ranks of the steakhouse, I don't think that would necessarily make them better because it doesn't align with their mission. So every business has to ask itself what kind of diversity.
Where's vegetarian? How would they add you to the? How would you?
I would add diversity. So my point is, I would add
diversity where?
Intellectual diversity of thought to a steakhouse, right? But I wouldn't be a good employee because I'm not aligned with the mission.
Come on, Vivek. Come on, Vivek.
No, come on. The point I'm making is
diversity.
This: different types of businesses need different types of diversity. That's the whole thing.
Of course.
So how could it be that every business sets the same quota or same target based on race or gender, when in fact every business should say we need this type of diversity? People who have experience in the humanities or math.
They do.
And they already do by focusing on return on equity instead of focusing on actual D, capital D diversity.
They go hand in hand. They go hand in hand because that CEO, if they can't hit their equity goals, right, their ROE goals, they're getting fired. Right, they're gone.
So that's what it comes down to. The ROE goals, the return on equity goal, which means there's a million factors you got to cover. Why do you want one blanket category of diversity?
It's not one blanket strategy. No CEO would have a clue.
Right. So he just obviously doesn't understand the term DEI, which But what do you guys think? Subscribe to me. I'm gonna be posting a lot more, just politics and things like that. So subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow.